It is crucial to me as a teacher that my students are not intimidated to use their English skills to express themselves creatively in the real world. For younger students, music and song are an excellent teaching aid to help them internalize the language. As the students mature, singing becomes something that is much more personal and private, and not something that the students are willing to share. From a very early age, students are taught English grammar at school. As they get closer to becoming teenagers, they become fearful and hesitant to express themselves in English. Only a small number of students have an English teacher that encourages free, open, and natural conversation. Movie class successfully fills this gap because I am involving them in a collaborative and highly creative personal experience where students overcome this fear of expressing their thoughts and ideas in English. My movie class involves a team of professionals who are actively working in the community. We have the equipment, we have the tools, and we have the know-how to do it. My own experience working for CLAP as a theater actor opened me up to the wonderful world of acting and improvisation.
Looks forward. Right? So the pilot looks forward. The pilot flies the plane. Yes, flies the plane. Flying the plane. Flying the plane. Good, very good. The pilot always looks forward.
With these experiences in mind, I designed my movie class curriculum. Let's take a closer look. We begin the movie-making process with storytelling. We examine popular fairy tales that the students will already be familiar with. What makes a story? What are the prime ingredients? We look at movie clips from many different types of movies. The learning outcome is simple. What kind of movie are these students interested in making? I introduce the students to many different brainstorming activities through acting. The students learn extensive techniques and games in order to come up with characters and plot and create our own story from start to finish. As we move through these games, the students will demonstrate their abilities and their English skills. Through this process, we're building a framework for the movie that we will be making. We use the acting games we've learned to create lines and dialogue for each one of the characters. Students are not allowed to express themselves in their own language, so they are challenged to come up with their own English lines appropriate for the character they're playing and appropriate to the scene. Homework becomes crucial as each student will be encouraged to practice the lines repetitively, orally and on paper in front of their peers so that the lines become memorized. When the students are standing in front of the camera, the lines can be performed naturally and with confidence. Although much effort is made to make sure that all the students get equal time in front of the camera, it must be said that in a real-world scenario, which we are emulating, it is simply not possible. Inevitably, some students are more interested and more involved in the creative process, and other students less so. Next up, the students will learn how to create a storyboard. A storyboard is what myself as the director will use to direct the camera person. The students must think about where the camera will be placed, what each scene will look like, and then draw it out on paper. After the storyboards have been created, it's time to begin rehearsing. We shoot the first version of the movie in the classroom, and the students get the opportunity to practice their lines and their acting abilities in front of the cameras and the other students.
I'm a city mouse. You are a country mouse. Things are different in city. I don't believe you. Besides, I am a big girl. I can look after myself. Oh yeah? Uncles love me best. That's why I'm going with you. I don't believe you. I don't need you. I'm going by myself. Fine.
As their teacher and guide through this creative process, I'm very careful not to impose my own vision or my own artistic goals onto their work. It isn't about me, it's about them. My role is simply to help them with the grammar, find more appropriate words and dialogue for each character to be their guide. It is about their own self-discovery and finding a sense of empowerment from their own creative thoughts. I know that working with untrained actors, non-native English speakers, and children nonetheless, severely limits the outcome. By this I mean that my expectations of making a Hollywood movie, or even something that could be entered into a film festival, is not the point. In fact, it's an irrelevant point. My own conclusion from this is simple. Forget the outcome, focus on the process, and do the best we can. These classes can be scaled over a period of lessons to accommodate whatever time frame is necessary to suit the needs of your school. Obviously, the more time we spend on movie class, the better the outcome. The more experience and benefit the students will take away. If you would like to know more information about the class I offer and see a demonstration of the curriculum and specific details along with the movies we've made, please feel free to contact me. If you'd like to see one of the finished movies, please feel free to click on the link below.